Cody right here. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the win. A lot of emotions at the end of it. All week, you've done a good job of not really letting it out. But now that the fight is over and you're past it, was this fight week harder than you were letting on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but, I'm a man. I pulled myself up. I kept my shit together, and I did what I had to do when the time came. And like I said, I was bursting at the seams. Once the fight was over, just emotion just poured out of me, and I just couldn't hold it anymore.
And you were pretty complimentary of Brian Kelleher after. You said some positive things about you. Did he say anything after the fight to you when the fight was all over?
Yeah, honestly, going into this fight, I didn't have much respect for Brian Kelleher. We'd said some things online, back and forth personally, that made me kind of think he was a certain kind of person. And then, after the fight, he was very gracious, and he just basically said, I'm so sorry for your loss. He said, you're the toughest guy I've ever fought, and what you just went through is fucking amazing. And I started crying, and I just gave him a big hug. That's one of the weird things about fighting is after you try to kill some guy for 15 minutes in the cage, you guys have like a weird bond afterwards. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it does happen.
And in terms of the actual fight, how happy were you with your actual performance?
I'd have to go back and see it. I mean, I know I won every round. I felt like I was, winning almost every exchange. I only got hit a few times. I have one little cut on my eye, and that was from, a fingernail. But that's pretty typical in my fights. I don't get hit a lot. I'm not a guy that's in there to take brain damage and collect a paycheck. That's not how I fight. I try to be as smart as I can, take the absolute least amount of damage, and do everything I can to win. I really definitely wanted to get a finish, but I mean, Brian's tough. I know I was hitting him with hard shots. My hands are hurting me. I hit him with some really, really hard shots, but he just kept coming back. Like, he just never quit. The guy's got some big balls.
And then one final one. You said you want to drop back down to bantamweight after this. There's a lot of high-level bantamweight fights coming up, especially even on this card. Is there a name you want next or fights you're paying attention to?
I got to go home. I got to figure my shit out in my personal life before I can make any decisions about what's going to happen in my fighting career. Obviously, there's a ton of huge fights at bantamweight. There's a ton of huge fights at featherweight, and I'm going to be a part of a lot of those big fights, moving forward. I think tonight I kind of proved that I'm one of the best guys in the world. And, moving forward, that's going to be a more common theme. I think there's maybe a little bit of respect on my name after tonight, but, it'll change. I definitely think that everyone in the MMA game will know who I am really soon.
Cody, Caroline from BT Sport here. Firstly, congratulations on a great performance, and just so much respect for what you did this week and what you were able to do there in the octagon. Can you put into words that emotion that we saw outpour from you after the fight?
No, absolutely not. I don't know what happened. That was absolutely the last thing I wanted to do. I'm kind of a strong, silent type. I don't like to, and then to watch myself crying in slow motion afterwards was hard to see. It just, like I said, it just poured out of me. Once it was all over, I had no idea something like that I didn't know I was going to do that. I kind of figured I'd keep my chin up and act like a hard ass all the way until I was here, and then maybe I'd fall apart. But I did it right in the cage.
I don't think anyone will blame you for doing that. I think everyone can feel for you. You said you're going to go back to Michigan now the fight's over.
Yeah. I got to go home and go to a funeral and do all that fun stuff.
We're sorry to hear what you've been going through, and great performance, as I said. Let's talk about the performance itself. You mentioned there you'd have to go back and watch it, but with a few minutes to reflect now, is there any part of it that you're feeling particularly proud of right now, or where you feel you could have done better?
Yeah, I mean, judging by the way my body feels, I'd say I didn't get hit very much, and I know I was hitting him a lot. I vividly remember hitting him a lot. I felt like he was kind of always a step behind, like I was always a step ahead, but I've kind of felt like that in all my fights. I don't think that when I'm really on my game, when I'm at my best, I think it's going to be really hard for anyone to beat me. I think I'm a lot bigger and more physical. I know I'm probably the strongest, most athletic bantamweight, just based on the testing that I've done. It's off the charts. It's way above what anyone else at bantamweight's doing. And and I'm physical, and I'm starting to put everything together. Like I said, I think everyone sees me as a wrestler, and tonight, I mean, I didn't really lean on my wrestling. I don't think I took a shot. I think I just caught a kick and took him down. It wasn't something I was intending on doing, because he's got a really nasty guillotine. I can really beat anybody anywhere, and I'm just starting to find my own in the UFC. And once I really can put it all together and put what I can do in the gym, in the cage, I'm going to be a nightmare for these guys.
We look forward to seeing what's next for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cody, back here, Jim Greetshaber, cage side seat. Congratulations, man, with a heavy heart watching that fight. I have siblings myself, and just watching you do that was inspiring.
Thank you.
Can you talk about what that means to your family? Have you had a chance to talk to anybody back home yet? What it means for you to carry that torch, to do it in his honor, and to give them strength at such a tough time with that performance tonight?
I mean, I said it earlier. It means absolutely everything to me. My fighting career and my family are everything in my life. I mean, absolutely everything. There's really not any time or energy for anything else. So going into this, it's 100% all my focus, all my emotion, everything I had, every part of my being was focused on getting the win tonight and taking care of things I had to take care of. And I'm just lucky that I had so many good people around me to help pick me up and to help get me here. If I was doing this by myself, there's no possible way. My family's amazing. My coaches, my training partners, everyone's been absolutely amazing. Everyone's been so thoughtful, and the UFC and the media, everyone, you guys have all been amazing, and I'm very thankful.
Were you able to feel him in there with you tonight? Maybe see him a little bit after, or did you feel that presence, and did that help you?
No, nothing like that. I mean, it was just hard, trying to like focus. And keep everything together, especially at the very end. I don't know why. Like, I was doing so good all week, and then just today I was just a mess. Just a roller coaster of emotions all day. But I buckled down and got shit done. And did what I had to do when the time came.
Congratulations, man. That was incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Cody, down here on your left.
Yep.
What's up, bro?
What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, man. Sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Terrible. Let's talk technique, though. I thought you guys were a couple of wrestlers, but that was just an awesome fight. You guys were brawling. Do you think the emotionality of the loss had something to do with that? Was that part of the plan? Because you have like one of the greatest grappling coaches on the planet over here, and no grappling.
No, no, I don't think that was it. I did my job. I think a lot of it has to do with the Song Yadong fight. I think a lot of my fights in the UFC have been me winning, but not necessarily looking for finishes. Like, I just do enough to win. I'm that wrestler or that baseball player that wins by one. You know what I mean? Just barely wins, but I win. I know how to win. You know what I mean? My record shows that. I fought, some of the best guys in the world, and I've been able to beat them on short notice with injuries, all these different things. I just found ways to win in there. And, tonight I was more or less looking for a finish, because I realized that with all the killers in the Bantamweight division, like, I have to do something to stand out. I got to show people more. And there needs to be absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind that I won the fight. Either that or the guy's got to be unconscious. Those are the two options. I don't want to go through that draw bullshit again, like I did with Song Yadong. That was a terrible time for me. I think I would have rather lost than gotten a draw. That absolutely sucked.
Would make sense. There was definitely a noticeable sense of urgency, a different style, Cody Stamann in there. Halfway through the second round, there looked like you winced from like an eye poke, but the referee didn't address it. You mentioned there was some kind of a cut. What exactly happened?
Yeah, he poked me in the eye. It's like fingernail or something. I knew he cut me right away. And I looked at the ref, but kind of kept my hands up, and he's clueless. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. I don't know. That guy popped up out of nowhere. I mean, maybe he's really good at his job and just made a mistake. I'm not going to bash him like a Dominic Cruz or anything like that. He didn't smell like cigarettes or liquor or anything. But, he made a mistake. Big deal. The fight went on. It didn't affect the fight at all.
I can't see from here. I can tell there's something with you.
Yeah, I got like 4 little stitches. It literally looks like a fingernail.
Okay, 4 stitches.
Yeah, nothing serious.
Oh yeah, nothing serious. So being local, having your gym here, having the PI here, and obviously being able to fight the APEX, it's a blessing, right?
Awesome.
But it's kind of bittersweet too. I think logistically, given the fact that your brother passed away, if you had to travel somewhere, that would have made things really difficult.
Yeah.
Do you think that having no audience here, not having your friends and family, like, so you can just focus and then be with your family, do you think it was better that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had to separate those things, in order to compete. I couldn't go in there with a torn mind or, a broken heart. I had to go in there 100%. Brian Kelleher is no pushover, so I had to be 100% focused, and the way it worked out was perfect.
Back here. In trying to tell your story and what you were able to accomplish today, there's just a few details missing as far as how did your brother die and where did that happen?
It was in Michigan, but I'm not really wanting to disclose any of that.
Hey, Cody, I just have one quick question for you. This card's loaded with bantamweight talent. Curious to know which fight that's upcoming on this fight card that you have your eye on. Any of the key fighters here in the bantamweight division?
I mean, the Sterling fight, the Garbrandt fight. Those are two huge fights. I mean, either one of those fights, maybe not Garbrandt and Sun Sao, but I mean, Sterling and Sandhagen could easily be the belt fight. You know what I mean? In my eyes, maybe it should be. But I mean, the Peter Yan, Jose Aldo fight's awesome too. There's so many huge matchups at bantamweight right now. I'm planning on fighting every single one of them. I look at every single one of those guys like an opponent. Every time they come near me, I get like a weird feeling like I'm going to fight them soon. And who knows? I'm sure I'll probably be fighting one of those four, within the next year. But like I said, I don't know what's going to happen immediately next. But, it really freaks me out when you don't have the yellow glasses on.
I had to be serious. I'm sorry. And lastly, are you cool with Aldo and Peter Yan getting the title fight for bantamweight that's up for grabs?
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool with it. It's a big fight. I mean, Aldo, he's the man. He's paid his dues. Are there fights that I would have rather? I think Yan beating Faber his last fight, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I'm not the one crunching the numbers. It's not my job to do that. I'm just out here speculating. I'm a fighter, so all those fights make sense. There's so many big fights at bantamweight. You could have put Jose Aldo and anybody, and it would have made sense. Like Aldo's a legend. He deserves that shot. Peter Yan, undefeated. I mean, you can't really argue with that. Obviously, I think Sterling maybe should have been up there. Sandhagen, like I said, maybe should have been up there. But who am I to say that? I'm a fighter. I'm not a matchmaker.
Congratulations. Next time I'll wear the glasses.
Thanks. Yeah.